What's going on, y'all? So Nas tapping in. I'm in here today. I'm back to the Agents Tech Talk, but more so, I'm talking about Openclaw, right? I see a lot of people still unsure, confused on what Openclaw is and what you can do. So this video hopefully can give you some breakdowns, just general breakdowns, what I believe is the best kind of tips and ways to use Openclaw from me using it over the last couple of months. Together some tips that can maybe help you guys on your journey of installing, playing around with it, and the best use cases for you, right? The last video I kind of talked about my own brain and how I'm using it personally, but this video right here is going to be more about how you can intertwine it with you specifically, just speaking about Openclaw itself. So in this video, I'm gonna be talking about the mindset you should have, when using it. I'm going to be talking about the coding and the workflow, pretty much how, it goes and the stages, the best ways to kind of implement that into your systems. And also just the runtime and optimizing it, right? A lot of people use these tools and just use them. But there's a certain way and specific way to optimize and use these agents the best way, right? Before I get into that, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, man. I really enjoy making these videos and giving you guys this information. So just let me know feedback on how you like the videos and what I could change. Is my voice too loud? Is the background too, distracting? Drop feedback and I'm here to listen to you guys, all right? All right, so when you're using these programs, right, you want to make sure that the mindset that you have is, take action, right? Taking action, you want to make sure that, you have some sense of understanding of what you want to do and moving with intent, right? So when we move with intent, we're not just giving the chat or agent anything. And when we have resources and references and stuff, the agent as well to properly help you, all right? So the mindset you want to have is take action. You must take the action even if you don't have the final result. Talk to it, send it a message, say, hey, that's action. But when you don't take action like that, the agent doesn't know what you want to do and it cannot build the persistent memory, right? So your agent favors you showing action and typing it, giving it stuff to build and all of that. Not only that, you want to, understand what it is you want to build, because the agent will only build what you are giving it, right? So if you only giving it a slice of bread, it will not make you the whole sandwich. Say that again. If you give it just a slice of bread, it will not make you the whole sandwich. So you have to come with, even if you don't have the whole sandwich, maybe a reference to the sandwich. Maybe, the two buns and, something else. But the agent will start to understand what it is you're trying to do based on what you have. If you come into it empty-handed, you're probably going to get an empty hand back or something that's not valuable. And we want things that's valuable from these agents, right? So do your research, research before you go into the chat and then hit it and watch how the difference, will be. And then move with intent. Again, kind of a follow-up on the last one. Move with intent, man. Use these agents to build, to create, to help, to fix, to answer, right? If you don't know why you're using these agents, if you don't know why, you downloading chat or, let's watching this video, you're going to be lost in the sauce. So move with intent. Figure out what you want to use these agents for. Ask yourself, why would I use an agent? What can I do that an agent will help with, right? Just think about those, and then you'll go into the agent knowing what you want it to do, and it'll just be a more comfortable, natural feel for not only you, but the agent. The agent don't want to just send you whatever, he wants to collaborate with you. So that's pretty much the mindset you should have. Remember, take action, be intentional, and come with resources. All right. Those are the three things that you should just kind of mentally note with any chat, AI model, agent, anything. Those three things, and you'll find you'll be able to get the most out of these tools, right? All right, so let's go on to the next, right? The workflow for it. This is going to be just, talking about how pretty much, again, the best way to utilize these tools, right? So I'm going to start off with the one tool that I want to share is my preference model, right? So I'm currently using ZAI and Kimi, right? Those two models I use for everything. I don't use Codex. I don't use, Claude. I don't use none of that. I pay for ZAI and Kimi only every month, and that's literally under both totals with the plans I'm on, less than $100. I would say less than $100 because the plans aren't $50. So the plans that I use and that I will put the websites and all that in the description so you guys can check it out. But I only use two models, and I also put my GitHub in the description so you guys can see what I've built. I've built a lot of stuff since I've been using it, and I only been working on two models, y'all. So I'm satisfied. The models are good. I use ZAI for, a lot of my large projects, website building, kind of just visualizes and stuff. And then I use the Kimi kind of for the smaller things, right? So they're not as, I'm not using Kimi as much, but I do use it, all right? Now we're gonna go into, let's see, skill everything, right? So skill everything is something that, is going to be needed if you do the task more than once, right? So if you do the task more than once, everything should be a skill, right? If you do not do that, what's going to happen is you're going to find yourself repeating the same thing or telling the agent to do the same thing, right? Because it's not going to remember how to do it. It's not a skill. So you have to remember, if you do it more than once, you're telling the agent more than once, create a skill. Create a skill.md, and it's going to remember that skill all the time. Next, you want to focus on the architecture, right? So prioritize the system designs, the outcomes, and the architect of whatever you're building, right? You want to focus on the setups and how it's supposed to run, right? Once you focus on everything like that, how it run, every time you enter it, no matter what, then you can go ahead and keep building on it, keep layering it, keep stacking it. But you should focus on, if you building, the systems, right? The outline, the back end, the stuff people won't see. Focus on that, so that way when you do push it and make it live, everything is pretty much good, and all you got to do is make those quick updates in the background, and it's good to go. Also, we want to focus on quality, man. Again, real builders are working with these tools, so when you want to build a tool and ship it out, quality over quantity, always. We don't worry about focus. Well, I'm telling you guys, I don't want you guys rushing to create everything in a bunch of different things. Focus on one thing, build the systems, build the architect, and make sure it's cool to push out on the front end, right? So that would be just my tip to you guys about, the mindset to be in, and pretty much, how to get the best out of these agents, right? We're gonna go down to optimizing, right? So this is just basically how to get your model to not crash, right? So we don't want the models crashing. We don't want the models to be delusional or forget stuff, right? So like I said before, the tiered model routing. A lot of people may think to use one model only for everything, but the best way is to tier, the models to what you want to build. So as I mentioned before, I used the ZAI to build the complex things, and I switched to kind of Kimi, so I save some tokens and can, pretty much not have to use my important tokens for small stuff, right? So that's what, how to run it and optimize it to your best, liking, right? Persistence is another thing that has kind of been an issue with Openclaw. So, everything isn't good, but one of the main issues with Openclaw was the memory, right? If you do not give it the persistent memory, if you do not do these things like giving it a skill or telling it to remember, it won't remember, or you just have to keep repeating yourself, right? So what we do is create these memory files, and these memory files is meant to keep long-term memory over time, right? So if you don't have this MD file for your agent or your Openclaw, whatever, you must create that as you're building, so it keeps that memory that you wanted to retain. Crons and heartbeats, right? When you guys set up your agent, you're going to see things like the heartbeat or cron job or task, and just a little difference between the two. A cron job is something that is supposed to do repetitive, right? So if it's at the exact moment, it's running a cron job. If it's supposed to be at every specific moment to send out something, cron job. The heartbeat is pretty much just a check. It's like a post check. Every whatever time you want to heartbeat, it's going to send a report to you, let you know what changes, what needs to be fixed, if there's any errors, or. So that's just the difference between the two. You don't give a job that you want done every day, like sending out emails, to heartbeat. You want to give that the cron job. You want something to check up on something that doesn't necessarily require it to do a task or send out anything. You add that to the heartbeat, right? Your heartbeat will give you updates. The cron jobs will do the task. Let's see what else we got. One workflow first, right? So many people may think I'm gonna just throw everything at it because it's an agent. No, that is wrong. You do not throw everything at it because it's an agent. That will confuse it, fuck it up, and now it's confused and don't know where it's going. Start with one workflow, right? Master one flow and then go to the next. If you try to do this and do this and do this, not only are you gonna confuse yourself, you're gonna confuse the damn agent. So just be mindful of that when you are working. Stay in one workflow so you can get the best results. Try to go elsewhere, it's going to start tweaking, and then you're going to be like, what the hell is going on? I'm done with this. And we don't want you done with it. We want you learning it so you can use it. And again, the quality, the model you use will depend on the outcome of the result of the, intended outcome you are looking for. So make sure you do your studies on these models. So like I said, I'm going to put the models I use and just a few extras in the description so you guys can check it out. Because again, the only models aren't ChatGPT or Claude or Grok or Gemini, right? It's like the top 4 that most people know. ChatGPT, Grok, Claude, and Gemini, Google. There's so many more models on the internet and in this world that you can connect to, but you don't know it. So not your fault, but I'm going to put you on and make sure you know all the models. And they cheap too. Not $20. Some of them cost like $7 a month, and you could get some work out of it, right? Different tiers. Again, the tiering model routing is what's needed for these agents, right? Not just stuck in one. So yeah, I'll go with some more insights. Like I said, avoiding the trap. If you give it too much information at once, it's gonna, get overloaded, and then it's gonna tweak like an actual robot who's overloaded would do, right? So you're not going to get the best results. You're going to just get whatever it can give and send out at the moment, right? So just keep it calm, keep it cool, and don't overflow, right? Real world usage, man. Use these tools to actually help your life, not just play around and create dumb stuff, right? If you're a business owner, use it to help you talk to your clients and get organized. If you're a school teacher, use it to help you organize your lesson plans or create some lesson plans. If you're a student, don't use this to cheat your way into A's. Use it to help you understand a subject that you really might be into, but you really just don't know how to grasp onto it, right? So think about that when you're using these agents and the real world use cases you can get out of it. Community. This is an open source project also. So no company owns Openclaw. Remember that. ChatGPT, OpenAI owns ChatGPT. So whatever you put in ChatGPT, it goes directly to OpenAI. Openclaw, open source. Meaning it doesn't go to a one company person. It doesn't go to a one, data center. It's open source, meaning it's a community project people can update it, people can, comment on it, people can change things, but it's a community driven project. So if this is for the community and the community wants this to work, the community will make sure that this stays updated, this stays to the power of the people, right? It's what we want. If we don't like it and enough of us say we don't like it, we can remove it. If we want more of this feature, or if we want it to be like this and enough of us say it, we can get it to be like this. You can't do that with OpenAI or Claude or Google. You can't message them as a community and say we want this change and they will change it, right? They may listen, but they're not going to change it because it's not fitting their model of making money. And then the energy intel, man. So, using this agents, I'm trying to teach you guys on how to use it the energy intel way, right? I got some agents, I got some skills that you can implement once you open or deploy your Openclaw, and you can get the same energy, pretty much memory, building, and the skills that I use for my agent, you can have for yours. So you can already install a custom built agent on your Openclaw, and then you can just go ahead and go take off for the running, right? And I just want to leave y'all this message right here. Your future self is watching. Make them proud. If you made it to this video, man, make your future self proud by implementing these things, watching the videos, and actually taking the time to learn these new tools that your future self will probably have to learn, or hopefully not, but maybe in a position where you will be forced to learn, right? I.e. getting fired, i.e. laid off, somebody else passing you because they learned in it and you haven't. Just make your future self proud, all right? Again, I just wanted to drop this video for Openclaw interests, for those that want to set up this on their computer for automation, for processing, organization. Tap in, man. I help people set this up directly, so don't be scared doing it by yourself. If you need help, some assistance, reach out to me. I just got a new email address, so I'll add that somewhere and you guys can email me directly, right? You don't got to be in the comments or anything. If you want to just email me some help, some questions, feel free. I'll answer them as quick as I can, all right? Peace. Subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys on the next Energy Intel session.